Hey guys, GW here. Couple of things. I just read on Google that Clue Gulager has died. Gulager. Uh, he was a very, very well respected actor in the horror genre. He was most notable for playing Bert on Return of the Living Dead. If you guys haven't seen that film, you guys should probably check that out. He plays a mortuary cremation sort of manager, boss, supervisor. I don't know how you want to phrase it. Um, his role was very memorable. He was not. I do not believe he was in the second one. He also played Mr. Walsh or Mr. Welsh. I can't remember either. On Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. Now, that was the one that really didn't do good. They have a whole documentary on why it ruined a person's career. He has been in countless, countless horror films, guys. Uh, he directed his son in Piranha 3DD. He also directed Feast. If you guys haven't seen those, there's three of those. Very, very well done. Of course, the ending, if you have seen it, I'm not going to go into it, but the first Feast was amazing. And that movie became made because of a project that Matt Damon and Ben Affleck had called Project Greenlight. Very, very cool. It was about subterranean monsters that terrorize people. Very, very cool. Very gory, very bloody, very grueling films. And he was one of my heroes. I really liked watching him on the screen. I thought he was great. He once told in an interview, he said the really coolest thing. He said, people need to be scared in the theater. They need to hug their girl. They need to forget about life being so crummy. And, you sit there and you think about that quote and you go, you know, life sucks. And sometimes life will kick you to the ground. I mean, look at me. I just, in the last month, I've had funerals to go to, or a funeral to go to. I've had very heavy drama go on around the house. I've had, just all kinds of stuff. I've had stuff break down on me. And this weekend, I wanted to get drunk, but we had so much going on that you can't really do what you want to do. So what he was saying in that quote was, life sucks. Throw on a horror film, forget about life. Hug your wife, hug your girlfriend, whatever. And just take a moment to forget about all the crap that goes on during the day. And I thought that was one of the most brilliant quotes that I ever heard in my life. And it makes a lot of sense. One thing about him, though, he he has more than 160 some titles and credits to his acting. He never was arrogant. He never was he always was nice. He was down to earth and he was humble. Every time I saw him, on a video interview, like on Night of Living or Return of the Living Dead, there's an interview with him on the deluxe edition if you guys get that. And he seemed really down to earth. And I would like to meet the guy, you know. But obviously he passed away. He is survived by his two sons. And it's a shame. It really is because, you know, a lot of the stuff that he did was very, very cool and underrated. And I really liked him. And if you don't know who he is, rent Return to the Living Dead. Or, yeah, Return to the Living Dead. You can get the collector's edition Blu-ray off Amazon. Very, very funny. And that was the thing about his roles. He was in scary movies, but somehow he always had a sense of humor. He brought a sense of humor to every role that he did. A little bit offbeat, but it was nice to see that. Um, So check out Return of the Living Dead. Check out Feast 1 to 3. They are very good. Like I said, Matt Damon and Ben Affleck uh, made that into a movie because of a TV show called Project Greenlight. And that was a show, again, where people submit like fan made movies and stuff. And they actually saw this one and they actually made it. And I know my hair's a mess. And you know what? I've been up since 3 o'clock and I really don't care. But um, it is worth noting that, he was a very cool dude. Um, like I said, down to earth, very humble and things. More news on VHS 99. I was reading that basically it's premiering. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to go to Shudder in August, or September. I don't know, but I would assume because Shudder did pick it up. It premiered at a film festival, and apparently it did really good. But I do want to tell you guys, off topic about, gulager. I did watch the highly anticipated movie Prey. Now, Prey is the 5th entry in the Predator series because you have Predator, Predator 2, right? And if you're going just with the Predator movies, then you have Predators with Adrian Brody, and then The Predator, which was the one that really didn't do so good. So this is number 5. And I watched it yesterday morning, and I was going to drop a review, but I had so much going on. And I want to tell you guys just a little quick thing about that film. First of all, don't let the fact that Disney put it out on Hulu throw you, okay? This thing is pretty damn violent. There's a lot of decapitations. There's a lot of violence in there too. A lot of un-Disney-like violence, if you guys know what I'm saying. Basically, the story is a throwback to the first film, but it's set in a primitive era where there's flintlock rifles and Indians hunt with bows and arrows. And I don't know people's names in the movie, so I'm just going to tell you how the story goes just a little bit. I'll give you a summary of it. There's an Indian girl, young girl. She doesn't want to plant corn. She doesn't want to tend crops. All she wants to do is hunt. That's her thing. Her brother runs with a bunch of Indian adolescents, and they're the hunting party guys. So one day, in the beginning of the film, she's out and she's hunting, and she sees the Predator ship land, and she thinks that in order for her to become a full-fledged hunter, she has to kill the Predator. That's basically the movie, and she's hunting the Predator while the Predator creature is hunting her. And there is a lot of awesome set pieces in here. One notable one is the Predator, while chasing this girl on a hunt, kills a Kodiak grizzly bear. Well, fights it. I'm not going to say kill it, but we all know. And it was neat to see. It was a neat little thing that Dan Trachtenberg put in there. I believe that's the director. The one thing, though, it's a really good movie, guys, and you will be very surprised. It doesn't dull down the violence. It really doesn't take away from the terror. It keeps the Predator creature normal, does not try to censor anything, even though, like I said, it was put out by Disney. Do not let it fool you. It was also, it underwent a name change, too. It was originally going to be called Skull. And it was going to be dumbed down to a PG-13. So I am glad, guys, that it didn't happen. The one thing, though, that I notice a lot of details in movies. And one of the things that you notice at the end of Predator 2, when Danny Glover kills the Predator, gets on the Predator ship, you guys, I don't know if you remember that part, where the Predator hands Danny Glover a pistol from 1882 or 1782 or something to show that they've been hunting down here on Earth since that time. That very pistol is in this movie, but the Predator creature obviously doesn't make it back to the ship to give the other Predator creatures the pistol, so that when you watch part 2, it's just a little missing piece. And you know, I'm not nitpicking on that at all. I'm really not. But do yourself a favor. It was very good. I watched it yesterday morning. There's a lot of wicked, bloody action. Um, there are a few kills that happen off screen, and I think that's just, hey, you know, we just want to tribute Alien vs. Predator because we know that film didn't do good, and every kill in that film was done off screen too. Now, fans of the Predator franchise will also realize that Kevin Peter Hall does not reprise his role as the Predator since he passed away. But whoever they have to do the Predator creature does it pretty well. And don't let the fact that, you know, even though that the Indians hunt with bows and arrows and spears, knives, don't let the flintlocks fool you, because this is a very entertaining flick. The Predator has all of his bag of tricks. The only notable thing that was missing was um, the disc that the Predator throws, sticks to walls. That was the only thing missing in this film. If they keep making Predator films like this, then I would say the franchise might be able to pick back up after the dismal last film. But Prey is definitely a movie you guys should check out. Excuse me. Everything about the film was pretty cool, from the way it was shot. The only other complaint, that little minor complaint that you guys, anybody could have about the film, is that there's a little too much CGI. But it doesn't come off as cheesy. You can just tell it's CGI, and that's pretty much it. But the story is very, very good. And then, like I said, it's sort of a throwback to the first one, which everybody loves the first one. I remember that was my favorite Arnold Schwarzenegger movie of all time, because that's the only one that I really knew a lot about. I played the Nintendo game, which was horrible, by the way, guys. But I played it religiously. Couldn't get anywhere. But then I saw the movie, and I'm like, dude. And it was one of those things where you watch the movie, and it made you want to play the game much more. But again, you never got anywhere in that game, because that game was deemed one of the hardest Nintendo games ever. But enough about that. But definitely check out Prey. It is well worth it, and it's a great, great adventure film. It's also a throwback, like I said, a harken back to the earlier Predator movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it made the film so great. And I think this one picks it up, and you can go places with this. You know, but I don't want to see like Predator 10 where, you know, he stalks Christopher Columbus. You know, that's what I don't want to see. And I know that sometimes these things get out of control and people make movies, and the next thing you know, we got Predator facing Christopher Columbus, Predator hacking, you know, apart through Washington, you know, taking skulls of former presidents. You know, that's what I don't want to see. I want to see something that's streamlined, and this is a very, very good and a better picture than the last Predator entry. So if you guys haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. And I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch Return of the Living Dead and Feast and all that stuff, because Kluge was he was a very influential horror actor, and like I said, he brought comedy to every role he did, and it's gonna be very, very. It's very tragic that he passed away, and he passed away last night, guys, according to what I read. So it's just sad to hear when anybody passes away at that point. And I really don't have anything So next week I am planning on reviewing a few more movies. Maybe we'll talk about Grizzly, a Jaws sort of Jaws clone with a giant grizzly bear racking through the woods. Or we might talk about Killer Party, cheesy 80s movie. But yeah, Prey was really good. Also, real quick, if you guys like that movie X, there was an article in Bloody Disgusting that I checked out that Ty West is filming Pearl. Now, Pearl is the movie that was set before X. And it looks pretty wicked, and he is going to take horror in a new direction, just like he did with X. And don't get me wrong, X is one of my favorite horror films of all time. If you guys haven't seen it, I suggest you get on it. It's not for everybody, but I really enjoyed it. But yeah, Pearl is going to be coming either next year or later on this year. Pearl is the story of the wife in that movie X, the older lady, and how things went on when she was a child that were abusive, troubling, macabre, and it looks pretty sweet. So I just hope Ty West pulls another winner out of his bag, and I hope it's really good. So that's about all I got. So it's GW. I'll catch you later. One more quick thing, real quick. I just want to say, I know since the last time I dropped the video at work, I was talking to a lot of people, and I just want to thank you guys again, everybody, Casey, Emily, people that from my family that subscribe, people that from other countries like my man Kuva Luton, you know, everybody that has actually cared enough to watch me or listen to me. I just want to say thank you, because when you go to a funeral or you have something bad happen in your life, you think about positivity and people that care about you, that take time to watch your videos or to say, hey, Greg, thanks for giving me a shout out. Those are the people that make you want to do what you want to do. And I keep saying that but it's true. And, I mean, Casey, I mean, when we had that talk, that was amazing. I want to say thank you for listening, and thank you for being a good friend. Emily too. And I would like to thank, countless people at work. I got my man Brian watching me too. My man Brian's pretty cool. Um, Everybody who's down with me, I just want to say thank you. Um, and I hope y'all continue to support, because I try to give, my opinions and my recommendations, and sometimes they fall flat. I get that. And sometimes the movies I watch aren't for everybody, but I just want to say, man, this world sucks. We're going back to a mask mandate again on Monday at work. And it's like we're never gonna pull ourselves out of this mud puddle that we've created. We get so far normal, and then we get pulled back, and I can't figure it out. And it makes you just, again, like what Kluge Luger said, just makes you want to flip on a movie, forget about the crummy world, and hug your girl. People need to be scared and laugh at the theater. And maybe that's the key. You know? Maybe that's the key to being happy. Maybe we'll try it. Maybe he's right. Maybe he was on to something long before all this COVID garbage happened, or the world started getting stupid. Maybe he knew. I don't know, but it's worth a try. Anyway, GW, catch you next week.